Hey gang, so today we're looking at something sent to us by GEEONE. This is actually pretty cool because this is not a 1-for-1, not a 2-for-1, but a 3-for-1 review. This is the Seki Ripple 2.0 Rain. A fantastic little mechanical slider. Very nice, we're gonna find out why. We have the Whirlpool bead, the lanyard bead, and we have the customized braiding service, which we've seen once before, but GEEONE has sent this over again. Just to sort of show what they can do, and we'll talk about cost, we'll talk about all kinds of things. So again, this is the 3-for-1 review of the Seki Ripple, the Whirlpool lanyard bead, and the custom braiding service. That's a lot, that's a mouthful. Let's go. Okay, here we go with the Seki Ripple 2.0 Rain. So this, look at that, I had it upside down. So this is kind of a package deal because GEEONE has sent 3 things to look at. We're looking at the Ripple, the Rain, the 2.0. It's got a lot of names. It's the Ripple 2.0 Rain. We also have the Black Reef Whirlpool bead, which is stainless steel. Sorry, this is also stainless steel. And this is actually kind of this is a good spinner. Like, this thing actually spins quite a bit. I'm not a big bead guy. I don't know if I'd spend my money on beads, to be honest, but they are they're a nice kind of accessory for people who like them. I don't know, you could call them an adornment, just something visual for people, and it does actually give you a nicer grip. I will say that. My issue with putting a bead on a lanyard is I feel like I'm committing, and sometimes I don't want to commit. Like, if I put a lanyard on something, I take it off a lot of times. I just, one minute I try it with it on, then I try it with it off. I'm never really sure what I want, to be honest. It's just one of those things where I like to change things up. So to me, a bead is kind of commitment, especially with the way GEEONE actually creates these lanyards. And this is sort of nice segue, Sean. This is the next, or the third part to this, which is actually talking about GEEONE's lanyard service. So you can actually get customized lanyards created. So if you order your Fidget, you order your bead, or whatever accessories you're going to put on there, and then you pick your kind of your paracord color, they will actually send this to you completely assembled. This is how this was sent to me. So if you can imagine, you bought these 3 items, meaning the slider, the Fidget, the bead, and the paracord. They will actually take them all out of the boxes, put the whole thing together, custom, do the custom lanyard on it for you, and then you'll get all the boxes, you'll get all the accessories and stuff, but they'll all be empty except for one bigger box that has everything in it. So again, 3 different things. Again, as we sort of saw in the opening, the slider is like it's on sale right now, so it's like $160 or $159. The bead is not on sale, it's just 49 bucks. And the paracord, that's something that is kind of a custom service that they offer. So that's really something that you will, you'll want to reach out yourself to GEEONE and get a quote. The quote is always based on what you're buying. Okay, so let's look at what this is. So this is, we've seen this style of Fidget slider quite a bit. It's mechanical. It is the push up, turn, push up again, and we have this kind of rotating anchor point in the middle so that we can kind of move it side to side. We can rotate it in any position it's in. And that's because the anchor point is here. So the anchor point is on the bottom. We just have this little pivot here, and the top just kind of slides back and forth, right? So really not a lot of mystery here, but it does feel really nice. This is really, really well put together. It's got a really nice mechanical feel to it. Very crisp, but I would call it lean, almost like a zipper. So you can kind of, this is, again, a bit of what I call a chaos slider, where you can really mash it up into 100 different directions. I don't know if you would. Of course, these things always work best when they're, used in a very specific way. So like up, turn, so that kind of thing, or up and down, right? So it is a mindless one, but they are kind of like fun mindless. And again, if you just start to, if you just want to kind of go a little nuts, I mean, you can just kind of mash it any way you want. All right, so let's have a look inside. Let's see what makes this tick, click. Yeah, let's see what makes this click. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to point out is that this little plate is a magnetic plate and can be changed out. So you see that it's a little bit tricky. There's a little spot that we have to get into right here. Don't use your nail like I just tried. I just wanted to see how hard it would be to take up. Not really nail, it doesn't really work if you're using your nail. But if you get something small enough, even like a pin or something, there's like a little indent here that you can actually, like a little tiny ledge that you can get underneath and just lift and it'll pop right out. So you can change these plates out if that's something you like to do. Personally, I don't really care about the plates in here. I mean, it's nice, but I'm not really looking at it. I see it, usually the Fidget stays closed, so I don't really see it, but I know some people like to kind of modify stuff like that. So that comes out, again, just magnetic. Like I said, we can do it once again. We have this tiny little lip here, and we just lift, takes no pressure at all, and we have our magnets. Let's just put that to the side. So what we have is a track, and inside here, this is going to be like a Teflon or some type of plastic, and we have the track for our lid. And now what I can tell just by looking at the design is that there is some kind of collar that is on the other side of this track. So the collar kind of screws into here, which holds it into the track. So, and then also within the collar, we have these balls somewhere. This is actually, a lot of times I take these apart first before I review them. This time I'm not. We're gonna go in blind here. So let's see what we get. What I know is the balls are facing that way. So whenever I take this off, I wanna be very careful with how I lift my lid because I don't want the balls to come flying out. Okay, so with all 4 screws off, what I'm going to do is now turn this back over, and I'm holding down on the lid because remember, the balls are pushing up. I know that because the track is sitting down. I can see the little indents where the balls are being pushed into. So there's force pushing that way. So I want to lift the lid up here. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm going to lift the lid up gently because I'm hoping that when I lift the lid up, I'm still going to see the springs and the balls sitting where they need to be. If I were to do it this way and lift this off, then yeah, the balls aren't going to go anywhere. They can only go down. However, the balls might fall out, the springs might fall out, and then sometimes there's like a configuration pattern in here that this comes with as a default, and I want to see what that is before I decide to change anything. So I don't want everything falling out. So instead what I want to do is lift this up really gently. And I can see that, oh, look at this, it still did it. So what happened is the balls are stuck into the springs. And so the balls were sort of stuck in place and they came out with the springs. That is kind of crazy. So we can see in here that this is where the 2 springs go and then the 2 balls go. So that's simple enough. Here is something that is awful. Sometimes when you get 2 springs that are sort of like wound up together, the only way to take them apart is to sort of unscrew them in the opposite direction. Don't try to just pull them. That'll never work. Okay, we've got our 2 balls here that are happily sitting in their little tracks. Man, they don't want to come out, but they will. Get out of there. Wait, are these magnets? Okay, no, they're sitting on the magnets that are inside the plate. Got it. Okay, yeah, these are not magnetized because that's steel. Okay, so we have our Seki plate. Now, this is just, we've seen this before, this is just kind of like a Teflon track, and the collar, right, which is held down by 2 screws, turns. And that clicking sound comes from inside the collar. So let's see. Get over there. Do I have the right bit? I seem to, although I don't know. Maybe one bigger? No. Let me see here. This feels a little odd. I know this is crazy for you guys, but I end up bringing in this magnifying glass here just to kind of, okay, these are stars. That's why. So you probably can't see this very well, but these are star-shaped screws. Again, I always come back to like this magnifying glass, for example. It's just kind of like a craft one that people put on their tables, but super helpful for this kind of stuff. Like I just showed us. All right, so let's see. There we go. Okay, there's one and two. Okay, so I've taken out our two screws. Now, when I lift this up, again, I'm expecting two more balls under here. So wow, not there yet. Okay, so we have our two screws, we have our collar. Let's, I'm gonna put that all together. So my collar and the screws are still together in one part or one place, I guess. Put that there. So we have another screw down here. Sorry, I know it's tough when my hands get in the way. It's just kind of the angle I have to come at. Okay, so I see there's a screw here. There may be a washer of some sort. A little, wow, a little tiny, tiny bearing. Let's have a look at that for a minute. We have a super small, I'm not going to take the screw out, but inside there is a little tiny bearing, this little collar with the smallest little balls. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Man, are we going to get to the center of this yet? All right. So, I know this clicks when we turn it. So I know there are balls and springs. I'm going to take the chance that the balls and springs are sitting in the coin and not coming from the bottom of the plate. So I'm going to turn this over and hope that I'm doing this correctly. Okay, well, in this case, it doesn't really matter. We've got our sort of dial, and then we have our balls. So we have 3 springs, 3 balls, and they all just kind of move around the track. Okay, well, that's pretty simple. I mean, I kind of thought that's where we were going with this. So let me just get, okay, so I have a set of tweezers that have kind of a little bit of a flatter or wider tip to them. They're not like, they're not like pincer tips, like super fine points, but they're also not so wide that I can't see what I'm picking up. So I am just going to put everything back in place here. Oh, come on, buddy. I mean, yeah, I could probably just use my fingers, but it's a little more precise. Now, here's where you really have to be careful, is that you don't pinch these balls so hard that they want to go flying out of the tweezers, or you're now looking for new balls. Because, oh man, I'm saying balls all the time in this video, but you know. Okay, so focus. Okay, so we have everything in place. Now again, I'm putting I'm calling this the coin. I'm gonna put it down so that everything is, the openings, the balls are pointing upwards. We know, of course, the balls are grinding around inside here. We can see all the little divots. So I am just going to turn this like so and place it on top. So once that's in place, then I turn it over and I can start putting this back together. So again, a lot of moving parts on this, enough that it might be intimidating when you first look at it, but it's so not hard. As long as you're keeping track of what you're doing and where things go and where they came from. Okay, so this guy is kind of on an angle here. I'll just match that angle for now. Back in. Now also, you know, you never want to, for one, these screws are always pretty delicate, so you never want to crank hard, but also when you're screwing your first screw in, always keep it a little loose so that you have some wiggle room to let this other screw line up. So that once it's in, I'm not forcing it down, I'm just turning the screwdriver until it stops. There we go. We can see this just moves like this. Okay, so now we have 2 more springs. Come on. Still the best thing I ever got were these tweezers. I know I keep talking about these, but the fact that they stay closed. So squeeze to open and then let go to close. So it's so easy to grab something like this and see how I can kind of manipulate my fingers and it's still being held. That to me it was huge. Huge. All right, come on. First, second, and now all I have to do is everything's in place, looks good. There's no wrong way to put this on. It's identical on both sides. Now I'm going to do it gently because what I don't want to do is knock the balls around, right? So I put it down gently and then I slide it open to reveal one side. And get my screws in. Come on. All right, you guys don't need to watch this whole thing. Let's just jump ahead. And that's it. Oh, one last thing we want to do is put our plate back in. So that's a little magnet. Pop. That's it. So again, very easy to take apart. As long as you're smart, you kind of count all the steps, keep all the separate pieces together. It's like, I don't know, a few screws. You know, there's like 4 balls and 4 springs, or no, 5 balls because 3 in the coin. But that's it. It's very, very basic to take these things apart. I hadn't taken this apart until I got it on camera because I wanted to sort of do it. Oops, I wanted to do it fresh, just to show you like it's not that hard. Just get the right tools. You know, once again, I just have this little set that I got from Amazon. It's got all the bits, it's got all the parts for me, and it's got everything I could ever need. And then other than that, a good set of tweezers. Like I have these tweezers. I bought these little very fine tweezers. I rarely ever have to use them, but you know, every once in a while. But that's it, tweezers, bit driver, and you're pretty good. So get the right tools. You can really tackle any of these jobs. But enough of tools. Let's get back to this. So this is once again, the Ripple 2.0 Rain, which is $159 right now on sale. And the Black Reef bead, the Whirlpool bead. And this is $49. And again, if you use the code TheFidgetFix, you get 10% off. All right, gang. Thanks for watching.